Most people believe that they are consciously making decisions throughout the day. But the reality is that 95% of your thoughts, behaviors, and beliefs are controlled by your subconscious mind. So today we're going to cover what the subconscious mind actually is, how it gets programmed, how it quietly shapes your life, and how to change it. Once you understand this, a lot of things are going to start to make sense in your life. So what actually is the subconscious mind? When I ask people to visualize what their mind looks like, they tell me the brain. They picture the brain. But the mind and the brain are two completely different things. So for the remainder of this video, I want you to picture the subconscious mind like this. I want you to have a visual image of it so it's a little bit easier for you to understand. So this is what I like to see it as, and this is from Bob Proctor. This is where I learned this, and this has helped massively. So we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. What's the difference between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind? So your conscious mind is responsible for logic, decision making, willpower, and short-term thinking, and your subconscious mind is to do with habits, beliefs, emotional reactions, automatic behavior, and stored memories. So I like to think of the conscious mind as the driver, but your subconscious mind as the engine. This is what I like to go back to. Here I've drawn a line in between, but hopefully ignore that. You can see that it is like a gate, and there's a little gap in between the gate here. So when you're a child, this gate, this filter, is quite open. And basically what that means is we have 5 senses, and with those 5 senses, we use them to experience our surroundings, experience our world. So when we're younger, the things that we experience, the things that we see, the things that we hear, over time end up becoming a subconscious belief. This happens because obviously this is open, because we don't know any better. We are taking what our parents say to be true because we don't know. We trust these are our trusted adults, whether it's our parents or our minders, whoever's looking after us, or our friends or whatever, people around us. And we trust them, we trust their opinion because we don't know any better, and that then becomes a subconscious mind. So if we heard our parents saying when we were younger, we can't afford that, money's hard to make, blah, 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 this then becomes our belief. Over time, it becomes a belief. Then as we get older, this shuts, and it's much harder then to create new beliefs, because you'll notice when you were a child, or even now, that we have certain beliefs. So if we hear anybody say anything to the contrary of our beliefs, we reject them because we believe them not to be true. But that's not the case, because there are so many different ways of seeing one certain thing. There's never just one way. Our brain receives billions of different pieces of information every second, but we can only consciously process a tiny amount. So the brain creates filters, and these filters are based on our past experiences, our beliefs, our emotional memories, and our learned expectations. And this determines what you notice in the world. Let's take a child, for example, that was not treated well by his parents, and he was constantly told how he was a failure, how he was ugly. We're going really deep here, but this happens unfortunately to some people. They were just constantly belittled and talked negatively to by their parents or the people around them. So as this child grows up, maybe they're going on a walk and they'll see a group of people, and the group of people are laughing. Immediately the person, the child, the adult, will then think they're laughing at me. Or we'll take another example. Maybe a kid growing up was told it's hard to make friends, nobody really wants to be your friend, or people have their own friend groups and they don't really want to make friends with you, or something like that. And then this child goes to school and that's all he experiences. He won't talk to anybody, he's very quiet, he keeps to himself because he believes to be true that nobody wants to be his friend, so he will never speak up. And then if we take an example of a child of the opposite, this child is being told only positive things by his parents, that he's amazing and he's beautiful and he can do anything, and just given constant positive reinforcement. When he goes out into the world, if he sees the people laughing, he'll probably think, oh, they're just laughing because they told a joke to each other and they think it's funny. Or if a person thinks that people don't like me, and say the first child, he's been grown up to think people don't like me. When he goes out and somebody stares at him for a second, he'll think they hated me, they were giving me a dirty look, they didn't like me. When in reality, They were just staring at you for no reason, because people do that. So children's brains are in learning mode. They don't analyze information, they absorb it as the truth. Some other examples of beliefs that people might absorb are: money is hard to make, people can't be trusted, I'm not good enough, or you need to struggle to succeed. And these become subconscious programs. So a lot of people feel like they're just in a constant loop that they're just stuck in, and they're wondering, how can I change this? Obviously, we now know in order to change your results, you need to change your beliefs. So let me just show you, this is just a recurring pattern that we experience, is you have a belief, and this influences how you think, how you behave, and it influences your results, and then turns into a reinforced belief. So imagine it as like a habit. The more you do something, the more it comes natural to you. So this, you're doing, belief becomes your thought. Belief influences your thoughts, influences your behavior, influences your results, influences your reinforced belief. And it goes again, and it happens again, and it happens again, and it happens again. And over time, this just becomes the norm for you. For example, if you think that you're not good at making friends, you'll think you're not good at making friends, people don't want to be friends with me, to then your behavior will be, you don't approach people, you're not the type of person who'll go up and make a friend, basically, and your result is that you don't make friends. And then it's your belief. Your brain is saying, see, I told you you're not good at making friends, I told you people don't want to make friends with you. So people often think that they lack discipline, motivation, or confidence, but what they really need to do is fix their subconscious beliefs that they have. So a person might consciously want success, but subconsciously they might think or believe to be true from their past that success equals pressure, success equals judgment, success equals rejection. And then because of that, they naturally avoid situations that will bring them closer to success. This can look like procrastination, or a fear of taking a leap and doing something different, stepping outside the box. But it's just your brain protecting the identity that it knows. Now, your brain actually prefers familiarity. The subconscious prefers familiar over better because familiar feels safe, even if it's painful. And you'll see examples of this in relationships, toxic relationships, repeating life patterns, staying small, and avoiding change. So your brain isn't asking, is this good for me? It's asking, what do I recognize? So you have to realize that your brain is not out to get you. It's not really working against you. It's not, purposefully sabotaging you. It's actually trying to help you. It knows what is familiar and what's safe. And that's why sometimes doing something that is different to a belief that you have can feel so scary, because it's not familiar to you. You've never been taught that this is okay to do. Know that emotions are very strong, and they actually can strengthen your beliefs. So the brain stores emotional experiences strongly, like embarrassment, rejection, criticism, or exclusion. So one moment can create beliefs like, I'm not good enough, I'm not safe to speak, or I don't belong. And then these beliefs run quietly in the background. So if there was ever a time in school where you asked a question and people laughed at you for asking the question because you genuinely didn't know the answer, and as you get older, you don't ask questions anymore. You just accept to not understand things. If you really liked to sing when you were younger and you sang in front of people and somebody told you weren't good, you're afraid to sing again, even though that's what you really want to do, because you're afraid that people will laugh at you or tell you you're not good. It's important to remember, though, that this is from Healing is the New High. Those who attempt to belittle us reveal more about their own character and perception of the world than ours. Those who want to hurt the world outside of them must contain hurt in their inner world. You can only give what you have, literally and energetically. That's why if you have an idea, you don't go to somebody who doesn't know anything about it, because they might have beliefs that they were taught when they were younger that will then influence you not to do what you wanted to do. If you want to start your own business and you're asking somebody who hasn't done that, who knows nothing about that, and they tell you, oh no, I wouldn't start my own business, it's very risky, and you'll listen to that. But the only reason they've told you that is because they've been taught that. Now, if you go to somebody else who has their own business and who was only given positive reinforcement by their parents and told that they could do anything. If you ask them, they'll say, go for it, it's the best thing you'll ever do. And if you fail, you know what, you just try again. You try again, you try again. Every time you fail, you learn. Now, awareness is so important because it changes everything. And you'll realize that most people are just living on autopilot. I mean, my family do this. When I try and explain them about the subconscious mind, they're like, shh, I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it. But this is where empowerment begins. So most people live on autopilot, but if you have awareness, it interrupts that autopilot. Once you start to notice things like inner negative dialogue, repeating patterns, or automatic fears, you begin to step outside the program. And that's why it's so important to know about this. I mean, if this is your first time learning about the subconscious mind, you can definitely take a look back and see how these beliefs have actually manifested into your actual life. You can genuinely see that looking back. I mean, a few years ago, I was unconsciously thinking of the life that I live now, working from home, and now I'm working from home. The awareness is so important because a lot of people are not aware. They just think that there's no hope, and they think this is it. Like, they think that life is working in a job I don't like. Life is hard to make money. But when you are aware and you realize all I need to do is to change my beliefs will change my results. How can you see people that are succeeding and think, oh, but it wouldn't be me? They are humans just like you. Nobody has any extra luck. It's not luck. It's all to do with your subconscious reprogramming. Let's talk about how to reprogram the subconscious mind. And I just want to also make it clear, it never will be fully done. You're never going to be a fully perfect version of you. It takes years of constant training yourself over and over again, because think, how many years have you been living on autopilot? I'm 24. I've been living in autopilot for 19 years. So it's going to take a long time for me to reprogram my subconscious mind, but it's really a reward at the end. Not only a reward at the end, because there is really no end. Humans are constantly evolving, constantly learning, and there's still so much to know. But it's a beautiful process, and you'll get rewards along the way. If you've heard of affirmations, the whole point of affirmations is you don't say, an affirmation is saying, for example, I am beautiful. If you don't think you are, constantly telling yourself you are beautiful, you are beautiful. Now, you don't just say I'm beautiful, and that's it. Like twice, and that's it. No, it has to be done with what? Repetition. Repetition is the first way that you can reprogram your subconscious mind. So even repeating new thoughts, repeat it constantly. As soon as you hear a negative thought come into your mind, immediately zap it out. This is where the awareness is important. You've just had a limiting belief, oh, I look so ugly today. Immediately zap it out. No, I look beautiful today. I look beautiful. Because you're so used to saying that to yourself for so long. We're genuinely so mean to ourselves. We're constantly berating ourselves, constantly. How can we expect to be the best versions of ourselves if we're constantly putting ourselves down? So immediately, as soon as you get a negative thought, zap it out and put a positive one in there. Visualization. The brain responds to imagined experiences. Visualization is great. I want to give you a quick story about visualization. And I promise you, I hate when people come on and lie. I'm going to tell you the absolute truth about visualization. I started learning manifesting when I was 19. I'm 24 now. Or 19 or 20, yeah. And I had a boyfriend, and he had a big group of friends. And I had no friends at the time. And I really wanted to be in his friend group. So I would visualize, I knew they would go out during the summer especially to a certain beach, and I knew the beach because I had been there in Ireland. And I visualized myself sitting around in a circle with them, drinking beers or whatever, in a blue bikini top and a denim skirt. And I visualized this every night. I think I visualized it for 2 weeks. Every night for 2 weeks. And one day, my boyfriend texted me, said, hey, my friends kind of want to meet you today. Do you want to come out with us? We're going to the beach. And what did I wear? Guys, I didn't think of this at the time because I was so excited. I got ready to go, and I subconsciously put on a blue bikini top and a denim skirt. And when I was sitting on the sand in the exact moment that I had visualized, sitting around, I had a beer in my hand, I had a Corona in my hand, and I was looking around, and I looked down at myself and I said, oh my God, this is exactly what I visualized for the past 2 weeks. This is exactly what I visualized, down to the blue top and the denim skirt. Like, seriously. Have a visualization, a thought in your mind so clearly, especially when you're in a really relaxed state. Your brain can't really tell whether it's happening now or not. So the more senses you involve, What can I smell? What can I touch? What am I feeling? What am I hearing? What am I seeing? The more senses you put into that, the more real it becomes. And the more often you do that, often you do that, your subconscious mind will start to seek out ways to bring that to you. Now, emotional reinforcement. Strong positive experiences reshape your beliefs. Now, the thing about having a strong positive experience is kind of a little bit difficult to say, but for example, if you're somebody who doesn't really, you want to make friends, but you don't really talk to people, you're afraid to go up to them, if you do just go up to them, more likely, the person will respond in a friendly way. Unless they're evil, right? Or like weird, I don't know. You might go up and say, hi, how are you? And they might say, oh, hi, I'm good, how are you? That is a positive reinforcement, positive belief. And this is so helpful to then say to your brain, see, I literally you've been telling me, or your subconscious mind, you've been telling me for years that if I go up to that person, they're gonna laugh at me, or they're gonna tell me to go away. And I've just done that now, and they haven't done that. See, this isn't the way life is. Let's try and reinforce this belief. And the more times you do that, the more comfortable your brain will be with it. It'll become more familiar. Then it won't be hard anymore. Your environment, people and the content that you watch influence your programming a lot. So something that I done, and I knew that this was necessary for my journey, was to genuinely cut out all people who didn't push me to where I wanted to go. They were dragging me down. So especially the content I was watching. Like, you have to realize that you are, I can't remember the exact words, but say you have 5 people around you. You are a bit of all of them. Like, you are what you are surrounding yourself with. So if you surround yourself with people who are not afraid to step outside the box, they constantly take care of themselves and speak well of themselves, and they're good people, they're motivated, they're maybe spiritual, you will become like that. But if you surround yourself with people who think the world is an awful place, you'll never get what you want, money is hard to get, that's the experience that you're going to have. Identity shift, changing the story that you're going to believe about yourself. The great thing about an identity shift is it makes the most sense. If you want to be somebody who is, I like to use this example. Say you want to attract a certain type of partner into your life. You don't just do that by imagining them, right? Because think about the type of person you want in your life in detail. Think, would they go for me? Would I be the type of person they would want? So you then become to the type of person that they would want, and then you'll naturally attract somebody like that, because like attracts like. But genuinely, like, it is a lot of work, but sit down with yourself, write down all the negative beliefs you have, because there will be a lot, and rewrite the stories. Go back to a time where you remember learning this as your adult self, and ask yourself, is this really true? Because if money was hard to get, why is there so many billionaires, multi-billionaires, multi-millionaires? If it's really that hard to get, is that really true? Or one I had was only thin women are beautiful. Is that really true? No, I've seen so many curvy girls who are gorgeous. I've never looked at a girl who was overweight and said they are ugly because of their weight. Never. But when I was looking at myself, I was thinking that. So how can that be true? It's clearly not true. But this is where you can have a little fun with it. This is where you can start to be a little bit delulu. Like, you can start to say, I am the most beautiful girl in the world. Like, you can literally change. You have so much opportunity. This is where it gets fun, is because you can have anything you want. You just need to change your beliefs. That's all you need to do. We have our new pattern. We have your identity, reinforces your beliefs, reinforces your thoughts, your actions, and your results. So if somebody identifies as, I'm somebody who struggles, they'll unconsciously create struggle. So changing your identity will change the behavior naturally. And the more you do that, the more it becomes a habit, and that's why repetition is so important. So many of the beliefs running your life right now were not consciously chosen. They were absorbed. But the moment you are aware of them, then you can begin to question them, challenge them, and eventually change them. Understanding your subconscious mind is one of the most powerful tools for personal transformation. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope this made a little bit more sense to you. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to comment them down below. And that's elevation.